Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a quick check-in and say hi. I know I went a little MIA on everyone for about a week, and I just want to actually talk about the energies for a moment because not to blame or anything like that, the energies are super intense. There is a lot going on that I feel is like this spiritual warfare type of energy where people that are currently rising are really being attacked, are really being tested, are really being just sort of put through these like trials and tribulations right now. And if you're identifying with this message, if you feel like this is something you're moving through right now where you're doing really, really great for a period of time, and then all of a sudden you just sort of flop and everything kind of goes out the window, all your good practices and how good you've been feeling and like the better mental space that you have been in, when all of that sort of starts to crumble and fall away, then it's important to ask yourself like, okay, is this something that is a test for me right now? Is this something that is happening because I'm meant to come back to myself in some kind of way? And so as I've been looking at my own journey, which has been challenging in the last week, I have to say, I have to admit that it has been difficult, and it's been difficult because more of my shadow is like emerging, more of what just doesn't fit in my life, basically more of what I can't take with me into this like new life and this new beginning that I'm on the precipice of. I can't enter that new realm unless I shed more old parts of myself. And those old parts of myself it's almost like they had like this little temper tantrum and just like flared up. Like I got triggered like crazy this past week. And it just all came to the surface, and it was just all right there in my face and testing and challenging, like, do you have the strength, Kata? Do you have it in you to really let this go? Are you going to be able to let this go? And it's like, there's this deep down knowing within me that I've already let it go. I've already made that choice. I made that choice a long time ago. But it's this residual, like almost claws, that are energetically in a way attached to these old parts of myself. And it's like, it just wants to keep like pushing it to the surface. It wants it to remain, to stay alive. And I can feel this really almost painful sort of like separation that is taking place within me. And it's not painful physically in a way, although sometimes it can be, but painful more in like this emotional, mental, like sort of mindfuck type of thing that's going on within yourself, where you're questioning yourself constantly. You're moving through this energy of like, am I really going to be able to be that future version of myself that I have dreamed about becoming my entire life? Is that really attainable for me? Is this something that I'm really going to reach and become? And the answer is within you. Because that's what I found. The more I tune in, the more I really connect to the truth of myself, the more I recognize that there it is. Yes, I chose this. I chose the difficulty. I chose everything that I'm moving through and create basically everything that I'm moving through. And I'm also recognizing that there's a thing with destiny and fate. And we throw those labels around a lot that, this is the way things were meant to be. Well, actually, maybe it could have turned out 1,000 times better had you made different choices, right? And it's admitting that to ourselves. It's recognizing within myself that like, oh, wow, I probably could have had a very different life by now if I would have made some different choices along the way, right? Even these past 4 years, if I would have made better choices, more conscious choices, then I could be so much further along on my path, right? And when you face the reality of that as the dark feminine is rising from within and is kind of like shoving it in your face and saying like, hey, you can be a myriad of versions of yourself. Like you can be anyone you want to be. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to continually embody? And that was a question I was asking myself last night. Who do I want to continually embody? The scared, the naive, the sad, the angry, the victim, depressed, or whatever? Like, do I want to embody those energies? Do I want to continue being those versions of myself, or am I ready to step out of that? Am I ready to fully, really, truly elevate and like do what it takes to not be any of those versions of myself any longer? So there's this really deep, weird unfolding that is happening within me. And I feel like this is happening throughout the collective as well. And I can feel emotions rising, that I feel like I think a lot of people are moving through this right now, where there's this massive division taking place within you, where your old self and your new self are basically completely separating. And it's creating a lot of turmoil for a lot of us. Like it rattles you. It's those things that we don't necessarily want to look at. It's those things within us that we don't want to face, but we are now forced to face. Like with the last full moon, the last new moon, everything that's been happening, we are constantly bombarded right now with face it, face it, face it. So what's coming up for you? What are you feeling within yourself that you need to face? Because we all have something to face. I know what I'm facing within myself, and it's certain aspects of the old kata that simply need to fall away. It's like they're deflated. It's you know what it looks like? It's like my body, but like almost like a snake skin, where it shrivels up a little bit. It's like I was a balloon, and then someone let out all the air, and I'm just this remaining sort of shell. That's old kata. So it just shows me that like she's basically dead. She's basically shed. She has been released. She has been let go. Because when we say the old parts of ourselves are dying right now, it can be very tough. It can be very emotional. We can be very, very attached to our old selves, to our old identities. Why? Because it's who we've been for probably our whole lives, or it's who you've become over time. So as you're moving through the shedding process of really truly becoming this new version of yourself, really, really allow grace. And I'm finding myself needing to, I have to keep reminding myself to go back to self-love, go back to self-love. And every time that I feel like I'm distancing myself more and more and more and more from that, the more I recognize nothing changes in my life. So I have to come back to that ultimate self-love. And we all have to come back to that ultimate self-love within us. That is the only thing that is going to change our external circumstances. The way that the world is each of us going within ourselves, allowing these old parts of ourselves to completely die, to fall away, so that we can be renewed and we can be this more courageous, more expansive, more outside of the comfort zone version of ourselves. And that's a process, and it takes time to evolve to get there, but it's certainly a road that is 1000% worth it. Because me facing basically all my demons this past week and really looking at all these shadow aspects within myself and kind of wrestling with them on a daily basis, and just noticing how I'm giving my power away to it, noticing how I'm constantly just allowing it. It's like I'm not in control. Something else within me is in control, and not allowing, my life to go in the direction that I want to steer it in, because it's new, because that would require some challenges, because that would require tremendous growth, because that would require a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of discipline, things that the old kata hates. It's almost like this taming of this wild horse within me. I am a Sagittarius, so I am half horse, half human, right? And energetically, I feel that it's like taming this wild horse within me, and finally mounting her and saying, okay, I got the reins. I'm in control. And that would be my future self, who needs to jump on this horse and tame it, which is my old self. So I don't know. There's just this process that I'm moving through. And I just wanted to share that because I feel like many of us are moving through this process at this time, and it looks different for all of us. And I totally get that. And I totally appreciate that. This is just simply my journey and what I'm experiencing emotionally, mentally, like the process I'm moving through as I am becoming this future version of myself, and the journey to get there, is it most definitely requires patience. But the how long it's taking me, because in my mind I have this like, well, I should be there already, right? But that's ego. So it's like, so the how long the journey is taking is actually not only teaching me immense patience, it has taught me to really appreciate time, actually. It has taught me to really, really appreciate time, not just on a daily basis, because that's something that I just feel increasingly, like to really maximize use of time and how we use time. That needs to really change, and how we even view time. But it's also about appreciating time in the sense of just like the time that we're given, the time that we are here. How long do you want to be the old self, and when do you want to step into new self? Because the faster you step into that new self, the new version of yourself, who's just simply more evolved, who's more disciplined, who has more self-love, a lot more self-love than the old version of you, however long it takes you to step into that, like all you're really delaying is your own self-love and all the good that can come to you because you love yourself, because your environment has absolutely no choice but to reflect that love back to you, because that's what you emanate continuously out of yourself, because you love yourself deeply. So that is the journey to get back to ourselves, to get back to, who we are. And this is the process we're all moving through right now. And there's beautiful opportunities in September, October, November to really blossom, to really open up more, to really become an even better version of yourself than you have been before. There's this absolutely magnificently beautiful, harmonious astrological window that is open right now for the next couple of months that really allows us and supports us to step back into that authentic, true version of ourselves, that future self who is abundant, who is prosperous, who's healthy, who's fit, who's sexy, who's gorgeous, who has their shit together, who is truly living a life of luxury and a life of bliss, right? In whatever way that looks like for you. So this is what we're tapping into. This is what we're now connecting back into. And the more that we love ourselves, the more that we recognize and wrestle those demons that are coming up for us right now, or that are attacking us right now, the stronger we can be, the more power we exert over them and say, no, I am in control. My higher self is in control, and I'm going to do the hard thing because the hard thing is going to get me what I want. So getting into that energy is going to be really helpful. Getting into that mindset, because it has to be a mindset thing first. It's how you get into that energy, is you really start working on your mind and the mind fuck, the chatter, right? The way these dark entities communicate to us or through us is like that little voice in the head. So just recognizing, what that's saying to you, and really overriding every single time that it comes up to be negative, self-talk, or just it's feeding you bullshit, like information that is trying to like steer you down back to like your old ways. Those little voices, staying on top of them and being strong is going to yield tremendous transformation. It's going to yield miracles for those that are going to be willing to do this work and are willing to do it and are doing it already. It's going to yield tremendous results. So that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your patience with me, because I know I have been very inconsistent with YouTube, and this is something that I am seriously and deeply from my heart working on, improving and getting more consistent with the videos. Like I said, I do have to work through some of my own shit sometimes, and that really throws me off course. These these periods that I go into when I get like seriously like attacked, it's uh, it's a battle, let me tell you. So it really is something that I have to just get stronger and stronger at overcoming within myself, of course, so that I can show up better for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, for your patience, for your love, and for your support in helping my channel grow. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.